welcome to week 6. So after this session, we are officially halfway through the program again. And we're going to go back to the beginning and do a body scan, which we're going to be doing with more of a mindful compassion focus. So building on what we were exploring last week around the self-compassion practices. So setting yourself up in a position that's comfortable for you. Some props that can be helpful are a thin pillow under the head and a rolled up towel underneath your knees, or like a small kind of bolster if you have that, and a blanket to be warm. Put some socks on if you're not wearing any. So setting yourself up for a body scan, taking your time and having a sense of arrival. So to begin with, having a sense of arrival in your body. And an invitation to set an intention for the practice. To be perhaps kind to what you notice. An intention of compassion for yourself. That you are a combination of your physical body, your genes, your experiences, the environment around you. And we're taking the time to be with ourselves as we are, and all of those things right now, practicing present moment awareness. As we take this time out of our busy lives and those busy to-do lists, the never-ending stream of things in our different time zones and in our different spaces, different places around the world. We're all arriving in our bodies, practicing present moment awareness. Taking the time to move out of the perpetual human tendency to want to hold on to the pleasant and to get rid of the unpleasant. We are united. Now an invitation to narrow your attention to your breath. Simply breathing in and breathing out, following the natural flow and rhythm of your breath. That you don't need to change anything. And if the breath isn't somewhere that you want to settle, it doesn't feel right for you today, finding a neutral place to observe your experiences from. So, crown of your head, your eyelids, your belly button, somewhere neutral to observe your experience of your breath. You don't need to get right in there. You can observe from the sidelines, like watching a football match rather than playing. Observing the traffic rather than being in it. An invitation to explore your breath with compassionate awareness. Whilst we can have some control over our breath, on the whole, our body simply breathes for itself, very little intervention from our analysing, judging minds. Without our breath, we wouldn't be alive. But the body draws in breath, and then exhales, taking from the air what it needs and passing back what it doesn't. The wonder and miraculousness of this simple process that goes fairly unnoticed for the majority of our days. It's taking a moment to tenderly observe yourself and your body's ability to take care of you. And letting go of holding in your belly. That's something you have the habit of doing, allowing your breath to really fill your body. Letting go of any tension or tightening or restrictions that you might notice in your body. Perhaps expanding your awareness. This feels right for you from the breath to include all of the body, and noticing if there's any tension that you are aware of around the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw, the shoulders, the rib cage. Having a sense of breathing in your body. Letting go of any tension or tightening or bracing. Scanning from your head down to your toes. Noticing the points of contact that you're making with the earth, the fabric of your clothes against your skin, the air that touches your skin, as you lie here, perhaps taking a moment to observe yourself in the tender way that you might a newborn baby or a beautiful flower. Or a bird on the windowsill. Your body that's carried you through everything. And now an invitation to narrow your attention to your left foot. Shining that tender, kind awareness around your left foot. What, if anything, you can notice here? Narrowing and widening your attention and your focus to the points that stand out and the quieter parts of your foot. Where do the sensations begin and end? Your big toe. What can you notice here? And then moving your attention to your little toe, the left little toe. What can you notice here? And then those toes in between, the contact that they make with each other, the nail bed, the little pads that help us stay balanced when we reach for something on a shelf. We squeeze into shoes. And then moving your attention to the base of the foot. That arch, the heel, the ball of the foot. And then moving that attention to the top of the foot. And then moving your attention away from the left foot and bringing the spotlight of your attention to your left lower leg between the knee joint and the ankle joint. What do you notice here? And each time your mind wanders off, lost in the stories or the memories of the cramp or the time that you banged into coffee table, bringing your direct attention back to your felt experience of your left lower leg between the knee joint and the ankle joint. With kindness, returning your attention again and again and again. As we cultivate a tender, present moment awareness. And then just as we brought our attention here, we're going to move it away to the upper left leg between the knee joint and the hip joint. As best you can, exploring everything. The quiet corners, as well as the sensations that stand out a little more and are perhaps easier to focus on. The thigh, the bone. Does it feel light, heavy, warm, cool? Their shapes, colours, textures. Exploring with curiosity and interest. Tenderness. We often have the habit of paying attention to our bodies and caring for them when they are causing us discomfort. And often this is loaded with criticisms and judgments of experiences. Can we offer care to what's here now? In the quiet. Now, an invitation to expand your awareness of the left leg as a whole and practice breathing into the space of the left leg and out of the space of the left leg. That feels right for you. In whatever way your analogy works. Simply breathing in and breathing out of the space of the left leg. And now an invitation to move across to the right hip and all the way down to your right foot. What, if anything, can you notice here? What stands out? What's quiet? Your right big toe. Your right little toe. The toes in between. The nail beds. The little pads. Then moving your attention to the base of the foot, the heel, that arch, ball of the foot. And then up to the top of the foot, the tightness of the skin. Does it feel warm or cool or tingling? What's here? What do you notice as you shine the spotlight of your awareness? And then moving your attention away from the right foot altogether and bringing your attention to your right lower leg between the knee joint and the ankle joint. What's here? What's vivid? What's quiet? Room for it all. Trusting in your own basic goodness. The validity of your experience as it is. And then moving your attention away from the lower leg to the upper leg, between your knee and your hip joint, your right thigh. With curiosity and kindness, simply noticing. The mind will wander, that's what minds do. But the felt experience of your right thigh as it is right now is as much part of your experience of your human story as the narrative in your head. And now an invitation to expand your awareness from the hip joint down to your toes, holding your right leg in your mind's eye as a whole and being playful with that breath. Breathing into the space of the right leg or breathing out of the space of the right leg. Now moving your attention away from the right leg altogether and bringing your attention to your abdomen, from the pelvis to the lower ribs. So we've got the lower back, we've got the buttocks, we've got the sacrum, we've got the back just up to where it meets the rib cage, your waist. We have softness and hardness of bones and organs that are cradled here. Most vulnerable part of our body. It needs space to move and massage, and organs that work with us having to do very little. kidneys, the pancreas, the gallbladder, the liver, the colon. All carefully placed here with specific jobs. And how often we restrict them with the clothing that we wear, or the expectation of how they look, or how our stomachs should look, how our postures slump and crush them. And then moving your attention away from the abdomen and the lower back, and bringing your attention to the rib cage, up to the shoulders and the collarbones, the chest. What can you notice? The rise and fall of your chest, the subtle beats of your heart. Can you notice the rib cage moving to the back? And then expanding your awareness to include all of the trunk area. So the pelvis, the abdomen, the lower back, middle back, upper back, collarbones, rib cage, waist. Being playful with that breath and breathing into the space and out of the space. And now an invitation to bring your attention to your arms. We're going to explore both at the same time, down to your hands. Can you notice here? Your hands that got you dressed. Fed you maybe. The warmth, the coolness, the tingling, your direct sensations of your hands held in that tender gaze. Sort of observing yourself as an impartial witness. And then moving your attention from your hands to your lower arms, between the wrist and the elbow. Tingling, warmth, coolness. Bringing an open and kind welcome to your experience, what it is to be you right now. And then moving your attention away from the lower arms to the upper arms, the elbow to the shoulder, all those nerves and ligaments and tendons, simply doing what they need to do. Noticing the streaming, judging mind. Perhaps trying to make this more interesting than it is. Our overstimulated, busy minds. Dropping into the felt and direct experience of your upper arms between the shoulder and the elbow. What can you notice? And then expanding your awareness to include all of the arms from the shoulder to the fingertips. And again, an invitation to be playful with that breath, simply breathing into the space of your arms and breathing out of the space of your arms. And then moving your attention away from the arms altogether and bringing the spotlight of your attention to your head, your neck, your scalp, your forehead, your eyebrows, your nose, your eyelids, your eyes. Are they darting around in sockets? What colours can you see behind your eyelids? The cheekbones, the nasal passage, the nostrils, the upper lip, the lower lip, the tongue. Where does it rest in your mouth? Your jaw, your chin, throat. Your face. Facial expressions that often communicate to the rest of the world what's going on, that go unnoticed to you. Connection that we make with one another through our facial expression. Perhaps you can spot in others, but not yourself. And then expanding your awareness from your head to include your arms and your trunk, your right leg and your left leg, and being playful with that breath one last time, breathing into the space of your body and breathing out of the space of your body. And then narrowing your attention back to the breath. Simply breathing in and breathing out. And then expanding that awareness to include all of your body. My brain and heart divorced a decade ago over who was to blame about how big of a mess I had become eventually. Eventually, they couldn't be in the same room with each other. Now my head and heart share custody of me. I stay with my brain during the week and my heart gets me on weekends. They never speak to one another. Instead, they give me the same note to pass to each other every week, and their notes they send to one another always say the same thing: this is all your fault. On Sunday, my heart complains about how my head has let me down in the past, and on Wednesday, my head lists all of the times my heart has screwed things up for me. In the future, they blame each other for the state of my life. There's been a lot of yelling and crying, so lately I've been spending a lot of time with my gut, who serves as my unofficial therapist. Most nights I sneak out of the window in my ribcage and slide down my spine and collapse on my gut's plush leather chair that's always open for me, and I just sit till the sun comes up. Last evening, my gut asked me if I was having a hard time being caught between my heart and my head. I nodded. I said I didn't know if I could live with either of them anymore. My heart is always sad about something that happened yesterday, while my head is always worried about something that may happen tomorrow. I lamented. My gut squeezed my hand. I just can't live with my mistakes of the past or my anxiety about the future, I sighed. My gut smiled and said, in that case, you should go stay with your lungs for a while. I was confused. The look on my face gave it away. If you're exhausted about your heart's obsession with the fixed past and your mind's focus on the uncertain future, your lungs are the perfect place for you. There is no yesterday in your lungs. There's no tomorrow there either. There's only now. There's only inhale. There is only exhale. There is only this moment. There is only breath. And in that breath, you can rest while your heart and head work their relationship out. This morning, while my brain was busy reading tea leaves and while my heart was staring at old photographs, I packed a little bag and walked to the door of my lungs. Before I could even knock, she opened the door with a smile, and as a gust of air embraced me, she said, "What took you so long?" So moving and stretching in whatever way your body needs. After that, move into sharing a cup of tea. And I've got some lavender that dried a few summers ago. So I'm going to press pause on the recording and invite those of you practicing later to perhaps take the time to reflect on your direct experience of having been with your body in that way. Anything that came up, any stories, any and the felt sensation of them. Okay, so we'll close the practice with a breathing space. And this is the one to really be practicing, I think, the most of any of the meditations. So we'll just do it in 3 parts. So taking a moment to arrive in your body and dropping into the thoughts, feelings, emotions and sensations that you can notice. The colours, the shapes, the textures, where are they? The busyness. And then dropping into your breath. Simply observing the flow as you breathe in and you breathe out. We're not changing the rhythm, we're simply being with the breath as it is. And then expanding your awareness from the breath to include all of the body. You breathing. Observing yourself with tenderness as you are. You don't need to change anything. Simply being with yourself as you are in this moment. And just taking a moment to think about what you need to do next, what your body really needs you to do next. And as best you can, taking this sense of awareness and connection into whatever you have left to do with your day. Thank you so much for joining me.